Chloe, we need a jingle.
I've got something in mind right now.
Okay.
It goes like... No.
Yeah, I think you should work on that for now.
You're sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Let's create a better one for the next episode.
Okay, next episode.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Artist in Pyjamas. This is your host Livia Papernik.
And Chloe Rochefort.
Today we're here to talk about, all things after graduation really.
Yeah, we kind of, this is season 2 of Artist in Pyjamas, and we took a break kind of mid earlier this year to focus on our MA basically. And we're back, and it's been 6 months since we've graduated, and we're ready to now like get back into the zone with this podcast and to kind of grow back this community.
Yeah, exactly, like update you on what really happened in our life and what it's been like to graduate, what it's been like to look for opportunities after that, because that's the real deal. Really at the beginning you're just like, you have so much idea, you graduate, you have a field of opportunity in front of you, and it's always like, what do you want to do, what do you want to prioritize during these first months? And I think has been a bit like my questioning during these past few weeks. So
and so we and we want this podcast to become a really kind of casual place for us to share that and to kind of maybe create a community of people that want to get into the art world, young artists, young creatives, and so hopefully we'll mostly be updating you guys on what we're up to, but then also getting interviews in with all sorts of artists that we know, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
So I was thinking maybe we could start with how kind of graduating was, and
I mean, it was a blast. I was really happy, to be honest, because we were not supposed to have this physical show that we had, and I think we really fought for it, and we were part of the curation team for this show, which was amazing. And I have to say, I was so proud of us to create the event that we created with the other people from the team during this really harsh period, let's say. So I think it brought us a lot of confidence as well. What do you say about that?
And it was also, I think curating was something that we're both really interested in, and we hadn't talked to people, we hadn't interacted with people physically for a year and a half, so suddenly actually being able to talk to people and see people's work in real life is so different than seeing things digitally. It's crazy. And it was, and we also we turned it into, I think, more than what it would have been if it wasn't in its current times. And we had talks and events and performances. So it was
really dynamic. And I think I realized that's why I really like about exhibition and about art events. And we had so much idea on Live about doing for the future, maybe doing pop-ups, etc. And I think what really is exciting about dynamic exhibition and curation involving performance, talks and stuff, is that it's really audience engaging. It's really about dialogue, conversation with the viewer, which I think is why we like to do art. It's this exchange. So I think it was
the only thing I would say about it is, I think
something to say,
no, I was just gonna say on a site, it was also, I feel and that's the same whether it's a BA or MA, you kind of put so much reliance on that final exhibition, and you spend the 2 years kind of thinking, for that exhibition, and although we actually did such a good job with putting it on, it was still during COVID times, and I think we didn't have that many people come in, and I did feel a sense of oh wow, okay, all of this for this exhibition, and then
no, you're right.
It almost, if you didn't have that one person talk to you and give you something, you didn't get much from it, which was you have high expectations of what it will bring you, and it doesn't always bring you everything.
It's it's the bad side of it. It's because I guess that when you're an artist and you're in an exhibition, you expect to be rewarded with some kind of response from people, positive, etc. And you're nourishing your creativity out of that when you are at the beginning of your career, when you're just going in the wild world. It's just you're kind of finding your values in how people see you. And I think that's maybe the thing with this exhibition is that it was successful for us. It was a personal achievement, but it's true that I don't think we can say we got a lot of opportunity from it. I think
it made us. I think it made us realize that like you really do have to go out there and kind of create your own opportunities and not just and things won't just come your way. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad artist or bad whatever. It just means that
you have to create the time for people and create like the opportunity for people to like get to know you, and sometimes having your work hanged on the white wall is not not that it's not good, it's great, but it takes more than that, and it's something that I think we've discovered slowly during the past few months.
So that's kind of what we're trying to do, is being a lot more proactive, and I think this is why we're feeling very optimistic about 2022 and being a lot more like, okay, we need to, we're artists that want to make stuff whether someone kind of approved it or not. So it's the idea of like going out there and kind of making our own thing.
It's like create an experience for us and for people that are like viewing our work as well. It's just, like creating this space like we're doing in the podcast, but like with our hearts. So that's like, that's cool.
So what do we want to do? You want to tell them a little bit about
it's true. Like I think what could be interesting to talk about is how do you adapt? How do you go from working with so much people around you when you're in a university context? Even though it was COVID, it was still really university based. You had your mates, you had your class, etc. How do you go from that to being mostly on your own during like studio days? Because even though I've got great friends, sometimes I do feel a bit on my own in the studio. It's like it's something that you have to get used to. So how do you like do your routine and stuff? I guess that was the most complicated thing for me. Like how do you keep a like nice
Although I guess we did get used to it because we started during our MA.
It's
had
true,
our
we
MA
did,
online,
which I'm maybe grateful for actually.
Kind of got us used to. You already got your studio before you finished your MA, so you already were in a familiar place. My studio is still in the same place I was doing MA, so if there's a sense of familiarity there.
I think so, but I think it's different though, because you're also working. I mean, I say it for myself because I had like a little bit of freelance work, but mostly I'm like in the studio, and it's just like having deadlines for yourself, having goals for yourself, setting up a series of projects you want to work on and that you want to achieve. And it's hard, like to keep to do everything, because when you're like an artist working on your own, you have to do everything. You have to do like the PR stuff on your Instagram, you have to do like your self promotion, you have to apply for opportunity, you have to be your own agent, you have to be everything.
No, that's true. And I think also like I found it very hard because I've actually had not that much studio time. I've had a lot of freelance work.
Freaking busy.
I've had a lot of freelance work more on the design side though, less on the art, like more on the embroidery design side, which has been great and perfect because of financial reasons. But it has meant that like I feel a sense of like I'm eager to get in my studio and just like make. I'm eager just to like put my dungarees on, put some music on, and not like have to think
to worry about like anything else.
So I feel like it's been a while since I've done that, and I am like eager for it. But it's been. I think you're right. I think it's maybe coming up. Like I'm still trying to figure out the balance between, okay, you might still have some like freelance work, but how do you fit in those times and like actually fitting them in and scheduling them in and being like, oh, actually I'm already working that day, and being like, okay, I'm working that day because I need to give myself the time, or at the weekend 1 day a week or something.
It's like trying to find like really a balance in your schedule during like, and also between
I never do. I'm so bad at
that.
I'm literally like, I'm all in the project, and then I do nothing else.
But it's because you're so committed as well. When you want to do well, I think like sometimes you tend to have like your whole mindset turned toward like one project, when actually finding a balance, I imagine, because I didn't find it yet, is like more healthy in the way that your mind can like think about like projects for you, whereas they are more commercial or like like short time or like long time project. and like things you can just like juggle
Yeah.
and different like find this dynamic, etc. But it's so hard. It's just like but it's so interesting as well. It makes you learn a lot about yourself as an individual. It makes you grow. It gives you structures, and it like teaches you how to be consistent in the making of your days, etc. Okay, so I think in the other side of it, and the other part that is like has been taking a lot of like my mindset and yours as well, is like application for like opportunities.
So many applications.
Oh my god! Gosh.
And we started that kind of before, like a while back.
Yeah.
But I feel like once September kind of started again, and we came back from holidays and we were ready, like it just felt like application after application, and that's kind of, I think an important thing to say, because it's easy to hear about like the successful things that people get on, but you don't often hear about all the hundreds of applications that people do before the one successful one. So I think that's important to mention. But it has been really actually good, because you do learn a lot from doing those applications. Like we did we did an
application for Norfolk, right? We did like
we did one together.
We did one together, like say for Norfolk, that's okay. Like we did like a public art, because we're really interested in that kind of things, like in like intervention in like the public space, and it was for like a public art thing, like a sculpture or setting, an installation, anything anyway, and we didn't get it. Like that's the end of the story actually.
But the middle part of the story is that
it was great.
It was really kind, and actually it was like setting us up a little project, and we did like whole maquettes for everything, and we wrote like so much about everything, and it was just a really good process of being like research into different materials, research into that, and I think although we didn't get it, it was really rewarding doing it.
And it's also, I think he helped us understand why we wanted to work together so much. Like what kind of interests like bonded us.
Yeah,
and
there's
made
too much
us,
writing for one person.
Yeah, as well. My God, like the writing you have to do for these things, that's crazy. But then it really made us understand why we love like doing, like working with each other, like how you can bounce idea out of someone else, because when you have a brief, like it's just really fun to work like towards it. And I think this application was really fun. Unfortunately, it didn't go through.
But we have decided to carry on doing applications together and kind of create. Like we work really well together, and we bounce off ideas all the time, and so it's that idea of through this podcast, but also through events that we would like to curate in the future. I think it's the idea of like creating this really easygoing dynamic collaboration. And actually we get really inspired because we're currently both working for an artist collaboration called Musa and Vitalik, from these two artists who are also about community art engagement. I think they kind of gave us like the wheel, and like they made us like really confident in the fact that we could do that and like do it well. So basically, like the project we're working on is a hot air balloon project. It's kind of crazy, right? We weren't expecting that as well. No. So we have to create like a hot air balloon for the Thamesmead community, which is in London. And the hot air balloon is actually like a flying sculpture, we would say, or like a flying tapestry with like stories of the inhabitants from the local area. So we had to do a lot of things like aside from the construction in itself of the balloon, which was more like the design side, which we were maybe a bit less, like the proper creation of the balloon wasn't us, but like it was more for us like engaging with the communities, like having discussion with like young group of people, older group of people during festivals and stuff. And collecting stories and kind of also like we did a lot of demonstrations and kind of tutorials about stitching, about painting, patchwork, and the idea of how easy it is to tell a story, even if you have no skills whatsoever, how easy it is to tell a story through really simple techniques. And also just like sharing our passion for textiles and why it's so important, and kind of the history that textiles has in storytelling, which we've mentioned about in season 1 I think already, but how much I love textiles. But it's that so that's been really exciting, and that kind of ends soon. It's been like a 2-year project, so we started it about a year and a half ago, I would say. So it's
ending soon, and it's crazy because it has been, I think because of COVID and things, I hadn't visualized as much like the end of the project. And we recently participated in the making of a small scale balloon. And I was like, that's crazy that this thing is actually existing.
Yeah.
Like, just, you look at it and you're like, gosh, it's flying. And no, really, like, such a blast, such a great project, and such great mentors as well. Like, that gave us so much confidence in what we're doing.
Which I think, like, and that relationship is also really... and how much that has helped us in just like feeling confident as being artists. I think that their advice has made us want to create this community even more, like how important it is to share with each other how we can be artists, and you don't have to be the stereotype of like the classic question, you want to be an artist, you're not going to make any money, or like it's that whole stereotype. And I think how important it is to discuss and share and help each other out, like how much people have helped us, and we want to do that as well for everyone else. It's like, not that we know that much, but it's just about sharing, about everyone has something to share, and all of you will have something to share as well. So it's that idea of making it definitely accessible and easy and not daunting, because it can be so daunting.
I mean, it can be like when we talk to like our mentors like Neil and Jono, like, and they talk to us about how they struggled at the beginning. I'm like, yes, okay, they once did, like they were young like us. Don't say they're old, but like like once like they graduated like us, and they were like, what the fuck am I doing? And it's good to have guidance, and it's good to have people with who you can share this struggle, and definitely.
Which is why we hope, like, we're going to put this video up on YouTube as well, which is new for us. We didn't do that for season 1, but this is why we really want to encourage you guys to like send us anything, send us questions, send us what you're currently up to. Like, we'd love to hear if any of you are in London. We're based in London, so if we want to hear from any of you wherever you are, but share us what you're up to, and we'd love to try and share what our community is up to, and answer questions or all sorts.
I think like trying to also talk about what's happening in London in the arts. And we're not art critics, but like maybe, I don't know, maybe like trying to use social media to like like find good places with like where we can find like exhibition and stuff. So like just like that,
And actually something that's talking about like spaces, me and Chloe just went to find a venue because we are going to start workshops. So if you are based in London,
that'd be amazing.
We will be advertising our workshops soon on our Instagrams. But the main thing I want to say was, we found this venue, which was a really creative venue we didn't know about, and it was so nice, and it was so much like a collaboration. It was really like, we want to encourage you creators and artists to do things, so we work together, this is a family. And so you can really, it feels hard when you don't know them, but you really can find these organizations where they want to support what you're doing, and they make it seem so much easier to do something, which beforehand we were like, oh my god, how the hell are we ever going to find a venue in London or things like that.
So just like, because we have been looking for venues for a long time, because we have been wanting to plan like different events, whereas it's exhibition and workshop, it's always the thing, like you always have in mind that like London is like impossible to find a space in, because I mean there's so many space, but everything is so expensive. That's also like the other like honest part of like this podcast, is that London is great, but it's fucking expensive. And like finding a venue, a place that you can afford, because most of the time when you want to set up your own event, you pay more than you get paid, or like you actually, like people have to pay for you to refund the like money that you used to pay a venue. And for us, that was like the problem with like the workshop. We wanted to find a space that would allow us to, to price maybe a workshop, or like to like think about that in like a nice way, and for us not to get anxious about like spending too much money on it, because we really wanted to do this workshop. And this venue was like really exceptional, and just like, gosh, like it's so cool. Like we hope to have maybe like workshops going on around like mid-February, end of February. We're aiming for that, but we'll update you a bit later on like how it's going.
Yeah.
So another point that we could talk about is our aim for 2022, because it's so trendy now.
Well, yeah, and also I think we've started the year really optimistic, and I think we need to I think one of the things that sometimes can be really scary is to set yourself like too many goals, because you're like, oh, but if I don't achieve them, then it's gonna suck. So it's kind of a frightening thing to say. But I think this year, like, we've both mentally been like, okay, you know what, regardless of what happens, this year will be our year, and we need to make it we will make it happen. And it's the idea of like, with that belief, and on bad days I will always go back to day one of 2022 where it was like, this year will be my day, and it's that idea of saying, so yeah, we got loads of aims that we could share with you.
Lots of ideas. I mean, I think one of my main thing at the moment that I know is going to happen, but it's more how I want it to happen, is I have a craft festival coming in Birmingham in May. Love Birmingham. Anyway.
Have you been? But you have been.
I've been! Oh my god! And yes, I'd like to, I mean, like, that's my idea. I'd like to work with a mental health charity around like a workshop that would last for a day around using textile as therapy and material relationship as therapy. So I would love to crack on with that. It'd be amazing. It'd be really one of my aim. So yes, just need to work for that. That's
and that's cool. And that's something you applied for that.
Yeah, I applied for that last year, and it's been like a great journey. I'm in contact with this amazing woman at the organization called Katy, and she's been like doing a lot of mentoring for us. So we've been meeting a lot of artists on Zoom, of course. We've been meeting a lot of artists who gave us like some really cool advice and really down to earth and grounded advice. So really, really helped me in that way, and I'm really excited for this project.
I'm excited for you. Am I allowed to come to the workshop?
Of course you are. More than welcome. You have to participate as well.
Okay.
In case.
I won't interrupt. I'll be a good student. Yeah, that's exciting.
And you, babe. Tell.
And me, babe. Well, I did come up with something that I could tell about, and now I've just totally forgot. Oh, I was gonna say about I think aims. We both have a aim of we're both interested in writing / drawing storybooks. So both of our styles are like, both of our practice is very much about storytelling, and we both started writing, and kind of we love writing as well. I mean, I used to hate writing, but I've now learned to love writing. In a very dyslexic way. But yeah, so we both, one of our aims is to write a book, not together, separately.
No,
Well, yours is a book, mine is more of like a storybook.
I do enough things with her.
Yeah, mine has less words, hers will be written in French.
Yeah, in French, but I hope to translate it though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'll be for the French viewers. So yeah, but no, it's quite good. So we're gonna try and like set up like writing dates and stuff like that in coffee shops. And
it's just like this idea of like writing in a cafe, etc. Trying to be in a different environment so you can be a bit more inspired, and trying to feed off of like each other, like, because I think that writing, I mean, I think it's also because we maybe haven't done it as much as like, painting or things like that. Like writing a proper story is something that is like it's complicated, and it's something that we really want to try and we really want to do. So I think
and it's a good aim, and I think both of our ideas are very, very different, but it'll be good to like be with each other.
Definitely.
So if any of you are interested in writing, then let us know.
Oh my god, your Writers Club, guys!
Writing,
how cool would that be?
Writing club.
I love that.
Yeah.
Only in movies, this thing, though.
So that's kind of.
And I think we had funding.
Yeah. Because we also, one of the things that you're not. I'm applying to residencies for like free studio space, because I have the studio I'm using like here in this place, but I'm really looking for a place with like a community of artists and that has maybe like more things going on with it as well, like that has like workshops part of it and like group crits and things like that. So I'm currently applying to loads of those, and then we're applying to exhibitions as usual.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then
I think something that I would want to do more, and I know you want to as well, is definitely apply for grant and funding. But for your practice, but also like maybe to be able to
For big
use a
projects.
space.
Oh,
And
right.
like like for big projects.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the idea of being able to transform an entire place and make it your own has been something that we've been excited about for like so many years, like like site specific installation and stuff. And it's crazy. I know we want to do it, it's just really daunting because it's so time consuming.
So one day we will do that, and whether we do crowdfunding or whether we apply for a grant from the Craft or Art Council, it'll take a while, but that is definitely one of those things.
I don't know if it'll be like happening in 2022, but that's definitely a life aim. But like maybe not. I don't know. Like
but talking of like projects as well, we're also doing, again, coming back to the idea of like just setting up our own projects and feeling like we're part of lots of different things. We're also doing a project with a actor/artist. And we're basically, the three of us are working on a short art film, which is really exciting. Which is quite a long-term project because there's lots of stuff part of it, but we've broken it up into places, and we're interested in narcissism.
And the reflection of yourself, and how do you see yourself, and especially as a creative, I think it has always been something like you keep looking, like you're looking at yourself all the time.
And even when you're not, you're almost comparing it to yourself. Even when you're scrolling through Instagram and you're looking at other people, you're subconsciously comparing it to yourself, so you're thinking about yourself as well in comparison. And anyways, so we're doing a lot of like drawings,
maybe public performance as well, involving drawing of you like reflecting in reflective material and stuff. I mean, it's really exciting. Like I think it's one of the projects we're basically starting a mirror collection for this project. Cool.
Currently only have 2, but so that should be fun. And at the moment it's just between the 3 of us, but it will grow into something more public. And then I think it will start off with more of like an installation first with what we currently have, and then move into the short art film, because for the short art film we literally want to redo an entire like
super immersive
cabin kind of space. So that will take a long time, and as like it's one of many other things, so it's like slowly.
I think it's just the thing, like trying, like having so many projects in mind, but I don't know how to start them is also something we've been learning to, cope with and like organize, etc.
And what to prioritize. And we've put this podcast on hold quite a few times.
And now we're back.
Mostly because of me.
But it's not true.
But we're back. And hopefully our aim is every 2 weeks, but we're not promising anything.
I don't want to promise anything in case.
Hey, we need to give ourselves a little bit of something to hold
on to. I think what we can say as well about the podcast, because we've been talking about it for a while, is like make our Instagram quite fun to watch, like involving like little comics, like little
share,
drawings, sharing exhibition, like art experience in London, like things that we've been seeing that has been inspiring, etc. And like continue to tag us, to just like mention stuff if you haven't done it.
Oh god.
We need to get the engagement on this Instagram going up.
But do you like go back to season 1 and listen? We had some really nice interviews in there. And so hopefully we will do more. I mean, we've already said this, so there's no point saying it again. But yes. Anything else, my dear? What else? Oh yeah, I wanted to again, this is an aim. I want to start. I do a lot of like jewelry on as well as like a side to my art practice. So. Which I haven't properly launched yet, so I want to work on that and officially launch that as on my shop. So that will be exciting for me, like a little jewelry collection, and then even maybe like have a whole photo shoot with them and stuff like that.
I think
hopefully get them sold in places.
That'd be great. Oh yeah, like markets. I mean, we've been talking about that, because actually it's just like like also from my point, like I like to be a bit more to have a bit more like a commercial like things going on. Like I love like comfort, etc. So I'm trying to think about cushions and home objects actually to make at the moment, and I think we would be quite excited to actually do a bit of like markets. I've been thinking about board games and stuff like that as well that I'd love to do with like scrap materials, and I think we're really excited about artist markets, and it's things that we want to apply to, because sometimes you have to apply, sometimes you have to book a space. Again, it can be quite expensive because this is London. Definitely.
Yeah, so quite a lot of aims actually.
Yeah, a lot. Maybe not half of it is going to be achieved, but like hopefully.
But hey, you have to put them out there to make them happen.
Yeah, you have to put them out there, and maybe they'll be there next year, but like they will never go away, you know?
Yeah.
You're taking us accountable now.
Yeah, literally. This is why we're making it, to hold ourselves accountable. It's like,
this is the
witness video.
Like,
By the end of next year, we'll be like, okay, watch this video and see what you can pick up.
Have you done everything you say you would do? No. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this is it, guys. It
was really nice to talk to you again, to be honest.
Yeah, and we'll be back hopefully in a couple of weeks. Yeah. And again, it's really informal chat to you. And maybe hopefully we'll have time to go and do some stuff throughout London that we can tell you about in 2 weeks. And yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Have a good time and
stay safe.
Stay safe.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.